Whoops, I'm on the wrong one here, of the Digital Access Committee to order. Madam Clerk, what's first up for us?
The first item is the adoption of the agenda.
All right, do we have a motion to adopt agenda?
So move.
All right, and it's a second by Commissioner Santos, motion by Commissioner Simmons. Any discussion on that? All right, that's procedural. So Madam Clerk, if you will go ahead and call roll for us.
Commissioner Ariola.
Aye.
Commissioner Jesus Santos.
Aye.
Commissioner Simmons.
Aye.
Commissioner Ward.
Aye. So we have an agenda. And do we have a motion to approve minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Santos, second by Commissioner Ariola. Any discussion on that? All right, if you would call roll, please.
Commissioner Jesus Santos.
Aye.
Commissioner Simmons.
Aye.
Commissioner Ariola.
Aye.
Commissioner Ward.
Aye. So we have an agenda and minutes. So Madam Clerk, move us forward.
The first item is 170192, municipal broadband and digital inclusion.
Okay, having looked over the backup here, I don't see anything new, but it has been a while since we met and discussed this particular item. Does anyone have any questions or anything you'd like to bring up on that? Commissioner Santos.
Thank you, Chair Ward. So I guess one of the next steps was getting an RFP and getting it out. And I know Assistant Manager Hoffman was overseeing that, but now that he's gone, I'm wondering where that RFP is and who's kind of taking the lead on that on the city staff side.
Assistant Manager Mann, do you have anything for us on that?
Yes, I do. If I can get myself set up here. So we're working on releasing the RFP. I don't have the timeline yet. We were discussing that earlier today, but we are hoping to get the broadband RFP published as soon as possible and get everything back. I know we selected the committee for their review last week. So, and I apologize, I'm still getting up to speed on some of Mr. Hoffman's stuff. So,
A big portfolio.
we're shooting for a deadline to get the proposals back by December 15th.
Okay.
Excellent.
And Mr. Mann, are you taking over kind of the RFP and leading it on the kind of city manager side, or?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Myself and Dave Duda.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions about this or any items anyone wants to bring up on broadband? Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to know regarding the RFP, have we discussed and just bring up the speed, what will be on the RFP? What are we actually soliciting? What is the wording? Who are we trying to attract? Can I just get an update on that? Do we know any of that?
Kristen, is David Duda in the lobby that we can promote him to a panelist?
Yes, he's coming in now.
Thank you. Unmute yourself, Dave.
Welcome, Mr. Duda.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I worked with Dan and Lee with the wording on the RFP, and it's really to start with a review of the one that was done in 2018 and have like a business plan on how to go forward with offering broadband if possible. I can submit it to whoever wants to review it. It's not much of an issue with me.
Yeah, Chair, if I could, I would love for you to submit it to the group so we can take a look at it. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a while, but I know that we asked some specific language be in this RFP. I don't know if Commissioner Jesus Santos or Commissioner David Ariola remember this conversation, but I think it was some specifics that we were requesting for this RFP. I just can't remember at this time what it was.
I agree. There were some other things. Yeah.
So if we could get a copy of the RFP and also maybe have the clerk or someone update us on what those requests were for this RFP, that would be helpful for me, Chair Ward.
So, Mr. Duda, Mr. Mann, if you would forward the draft over to us, or
Mr. Chair, we'll get
that you're able to.
Mr. Chair, we'll get that over to the commission.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll get over to the clerk.
Thank you, Chair.
Any other questions about this? Commissioner Santos, actually Commissioner Ariola and then Commissioner Santos.
Yeah, I just for the benefit of the committee and for staff, whenever that RFP is drafted and brought back, ahead of time, if you could just make sure that the staff analysis that was sent by Lisa Bennett, Claudia Rasnick, and Lewis Walton is taken into account. They outline some pretty necessary items of consideration that have to go into any RFP. And I just like that to get done beforehand because there's even legal considerations that we have to look for. And I just want to make sure that we don't spend an inordinate amount of time reviewing the RFP process. I'd like for us, I'd like to give y'all's approval whenever you have it done. So that's just something that I'm looking for because I certainly have a lot of consternation about some of the steps that we could potentially get snagged on throughout this process. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Santos.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My understanding is the RFP is not going to come back to this committee. It's just going out from what information we gave last time. And just to kind of look at the minutes from the last meeting on, I think the Commissioner Simmons' point, I think one of the few things we're having it kind of address equity toolkit, looking at the feasibility study, a market analysis, kind of business plan, and then also looking at the digital divide and seeing how all of that can be addressed. So it sounds like the RFP is somewhat considering that. I assume the equity toolkit is probably in there because it's in a lot of the, pretty much all of our things. So, and then looking at the digital divide as well. So I believe those were the specific things you mentioned, Commissioner Simmons.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Hayes Santos is correct. The RFP will be reviewed by a committee led by Mr. Duda, and then we will bring a recommended award to the commission.
Okay. Could you go ahead and forward it to us regardless, please?
Yes, we'll forward the RFP to you.
Okay. And then commissioners, if you have questions on that, we can address those back through the manager's office and in that direction. Everybody comfortable with that? Okay. All right. Any further comment on this? All right. Let's move on to the next item, Madam Clerk.
The next item is 190284, data governance.
Mr. Mann, did you have anything, or Mr. Duda, anything to move forward with this? I know the last substantive conversation we had on data governance was regarding GPD data specifically and how we work with that. I don't know that we have anything to take action on right now.
I don't have anything on it. I'm looking at the notes that was left to me, and I don't have anything on that. Okay. I'm looking at Mr. Duda to see if he looks puzzled as I do.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything left on that one.
Okay. Commissioner Santos, you had a comment.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think on this, and kind of was tying into data privacy, there was the kind of new privacy governance kind of policy that was going through the charters. I know it's kind of difficult because I know you're coming in, Mr. Mann, at the last time, I believe. There was that, and that was going to come back to the commission. I'm wondering where that is in terms of that policy, because that was kind of starting the basis of kind of having a true kind of data governance policy for the whole entire city. I don't know if Ms. Bigby, since she's one of the charters, if she.
Sure. Hi, Commissioner Hayes Santos and commissioners. Unfortunately, I can't comment specifically because we do have a related finding, but it's in our cybersecurity audit. And those findings are not public.
Okay.
But I do know that the enterprise IT governance team is working on that. As far as something coming across my desk as one of the charter officers, there's nothing that I'm working on. There's nothing that was passed around and asked us to review. I think that that's still in progress.
So,
Chair, I'll get with the Department of Strategic Initiatives. They were leading the data governance policy. I'll get with them and get you all a report either at or before the next meeting.
And if you would ask them to be prepared to address this at the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
Great.
so I just want to add real quick, there was a data protection policy that was sent via from Strategic Initiatives with myself also in there, and that was sent to Dan. So I'll pick it back up, send it to Phil. We'll also.
Yeah, Chair, I believe that's what it was, the data protection policy, I believe.
Yeah, it's a 2-page document. It's really just to make sure the whole city's following certain standards.
This is what happens when we have several months without a subcommittee meeting and lose the assistant city manager in charge in the meantime. So, Commissioner Simmons, did you have something to add to that?
Thank you, Chair. Where is GRU on this?
Mr. Walton, do you have anything to add on that?
Hi there. I think we were talking about the digital security, and I'm not on the IT side. Walt would be better off to answer those questions. Have I got that question right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So where do we go from here? I guess that's my question as it relates to GRU.
Well, I think that. Oh, I'm sorry. I think that Walt and his group have been involved with the group that Miss Bigby was just mentioning. I'm not 100% sure of that,
So
but I think we're integrated.
So that's not at liberty to be discussed. I just want to know, because we're talking about the data set as an overall governmental thing, and GRU is a part of that. So all I'm hearing is Mr. Mann speaking on behalf of general government. I just want to know where does GRU, what's their stance? Where are they in this conversation?
Commissioner, I'm sorry. It's with it not being my area, I'm just not familiar with the conversations. But we'll follow up on it for you.
Okay.
Well, I will pledge to you, Mr. Chair and Commissioner Simmons, we'll have this item much better ready next meeting.
Great. And if you would, in the process, include the IT group from GRU in the conversation, that'll be helpful as well.
I'll get with Walt and Lewis.
Thank you. Commissioner Santos. I'm sorry, Commissioner Simmons, were you finished? Or okay, all right. Commissioner Santos.
Thank you, Chair. And just to Commissioner Simmons' point, I think it was all, I'm pretty sure GRU was a part of it because it's the general government GRU creating most of the data here. So it was my understanding they were a part of it. But I think it was being started in the general government shop to get it moving forward in the strategic initiatives shop, I think.
Okay. Any other commentary on data governance from the members? All right, then let's since there's no action. Yeah, Commissioner.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
For me, moving forward, I think it's important that GRU is identified in everything we do as we move forward because of the time that we have not spent together as a subcommittee. I'm trying to catch up and I'm trying to get back on track with all of this. This is a lot of moving pieces. And I think it's helpful for me that GRU is identified in every step of the way in everything that they're a part of in this project or how we're discussing this. Because what I don't want to happen What I don't want to see happen is general government is talking and they're moving, and it's understood GRU is a part of this. And I think that's something that needs to be stated constantly for me, so I can get that in my system and make sure that GRU is a part of this conversation at all times, because we are one government. And I think the conversation, and maybe I'm looking at it wrong, is being tilted in one direction. And I don't want that conversation to go in one direction. I want it to go collectively, and making sure that we're all in this together, making sure that I'm hearing GRU. When general government do something, I need to hear GRU in lock and step with general government. And right now, I'm not hearing that. And as we move forward, I want to make that clear that GRU, they need to be on this conversation. IT need to be at this meeting. This is a digital access committee meeting with general government and GRU, and a representative from GRU should have been at this meeting. So moving forward, GRU need to be involved in this conversation, lock and step with general government. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. I totally agree. And for the record, Mr. Walton is here, but that's not his area of expertise. And I'll take some responsibility for this as well. I should have reached out to Mr. Blarski and made sure that we had representation across the board. But I think that message is delivered, and we'll make sure that it happens next time. So,
Absolutely. I'll make sure I pass on the information.
okay, thank you. Finish there, Commissioner Simmons. Are you good? Okay, Commissioner Ariella.
Thank you. To be frank, Mr. Chair, I don't know that that's necessarily something that you have to take responsibility for, or even the staff members. That's the responsibility of our charter officers. We've given clear direction. And so I appreciate it being said in the committee time. But when you have your conversations governing with your officers, that's a point that needs to be brought home, because that's where the decisions get made. Our staff are doing their jobs. They're here, they're doing the work, they've been doing the work. That type of collaboration really is dependent on the officers.
Agreed. All right. Anything else we need to work? Mr. Mann, you have a question there?
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to, just to clarify Commissioner Simmons' comments. I know that Mr. Walton is working with us on the broadband RP. David and Lewis are working on that. And the next item on the agenda, the smart city update, I've been working on that with Dave Duda's staff and GRU Electric, and we are in lockstep with them on several things related to the smart cities. So I don't know if it was just a conflict in meeting 2 days or what. I'm not gonna make excuses, but it has been happening to a point behind the scenes.
Good.
Thank you.
Commissioner Simmons, yeah.
And that's great. And I think what I was trying to get across is I need to hear that in these meetings, that you all are working together, lock and step behind the scenes and making this happen. Just to reaffirm for me, because we haven't been meeting, it's real cloudy to me right now. This is a lot of information. We're doing a lot. We're trying to accomplish a lot under circumstances that are not normal. So for me, I need to hear that we are working together on this. We are working together on that. Just make sure that I'm hearing that, people at home are hearing that. So it's not just understood, but it's really truly working, and we're hearing that. And I think once you say that, Mr. Mann, and we get the impression that we are working as one government, I think this project, this digital broadband is a big deal. Let me say that. This is not anything to sneeze at. This is a big deal. And I think we need to make sure that when we're speaking about this, we're speaking in terms of we're working together. GRU is doing their part. General government is doing their part. So not only that, I know that, and you all staff know that, but the community know that. And that's what I'm simply trying to get across. Make sure that the great work that you're doing and the collaboration you're doing is being said and not just understood. Thank you.
Thank you. There's Mr. Banks.
Sorry, I'm late. I was dealing with another problem on the other line.
Understand. Did you have anything you wanted to add on, Mr. Banks, on the issues of data protection and data governance? I don't want to put you on the spot as soon as you walk in the room, but that's the topic. So,
data protection, it's something that has to be done citywide. Obviously, it's something that I think that needs a lot of discussion because there's a lot of new things out there that need to be addressed to make sure that everybody understands the full ramification of putting out information, whether it be personally sensitive information or it be just regular information that we think is compliant, but we should examine it fully before we release it so there's less harm done than good.
very good. All right, thank you. So if there are no more questions from commissioners, from members, we will, I think, move on to the next items. We're not taking any action here. And Madam Clerk.
Yes, the next item is 181008 Smart City Update.
Mr. Mann, do you have anyone to, any specific updates for us on Smart City right now?
The Smart Cities program is housed with the Department of Technology. I was going to let Dave address anything we're working on in that area.
Great.
So yeah, we are still trying to do the smart lighting, and we're waiting for the AMI project to take off from the GRU side to ensure that there's compatibility with you don't want to mix hardwares and find out after the fact you bought something that doesn't fit or work. So that was supposed to be done and sent to the city commission, I think like in September, but you should be seeing something, I think, in November for their AMI project. Then once that is in step, we will be reviewing possibilities and maybe approaching I talked to my coordinator earlier about starting engaging in some beta projects through the city. I know that there was some that were on the map that we're trying to address or take a look at to start with. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with the smart cities.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Commissioner Santos, you have a question.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Mr. Duda, so waiting on the AMI, to move forward, we're not, I guess once we award the contract, is that when start moving on your side? Or you're not gonna wait till the whole entire AMI is like installed, correct? Just waiting on who the vendor is, and once that contract's signed, then move forward. Okay. Now, will that be another RFP, or will that be, is that what will happen? Or what's kind of the strategy moving forward once kind of the platform, I guess, is decided on?
Yeah, so once a platform is decided, we're going to be looking at a couple different vendors, and if we'll see how the purchasing goes at that point. If it has to be an RFP, it has to be an RFP. I'm not sure, but as soon as we're raring to get ready, but like we want to go. So it's just as soon as they pick, we're going to be jumping on that project.
And then on the UF corridor from 2nd Avenue to downtown down to Depot Park, where I know COVID happened and that kind of, I know UF had to focus on a lot of different things. Do you know where that is and kind of in terms of that pilot project? Or
I'm not familiar with that one. There was supposed. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not.
Okay. Mr. Mann or Phil, I guess. Well, yeah.
I'm not familiar with that project either.
So I guess that's something we need to maybe reach. I mean, I know UF was building things out. I guess Mr. Walton or Mr. Banks, Mr. Walton, you were part of some of those conversations. Mr. Banks, I don't know if you remember, but it sounds like that with Dan leaving, that kind of fell off on
Sounds like it. There were that had really evolved into mostly Cox, UF, and GG general government, I believe, talking to each other. Dan was talking to them. So, and I remember that it got pretty advanced. I thought that it had moved over into Porter's, and that corridor there was effectively being enabled. But I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, Dan was leading the charge on that one.
Are we referring to smart lighting or are we referring to broadband?
Talking about broadband access down through there, kind of walking access to the UF. I don't want to call it their intranet, but it's effectively their EduRoam, I believe. So there was that, and there was going to be some additional wireless access for others walking along that internet corridor.
Yeah, and I think it was going to be that corridors were going to be kind of the test bed as well. We could test different things along that corridor and kind of make it a test bed for both general government and the University of Florida. It was being run out of the VP of IT over at UF.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that. I know the broadband one, there was one that was there was a Wi-Fi access point that was set up at Lynch Park and was going to go over to Porter's and then over to Depot. That is just getting some more equipment purchased and seeing how we legally do a splash page and make sure we're following certain standards on that. But I don't know anything about the Second Avenue test bed area.
Well,
Dave, it may have been integrated with that. Honestly, I think I do remember it blending into the Depot Park installation for sure. If that helps.
Mr. Manager, did you have something to add there?
Well, we'll find out where it is and follow up with everybody.
Yeah, where it was when we last met live back in February was that it was the corridor was coming down Second Avenue from UF and then south to Lynch Park and through the Porter's community, and with a hopeful extension down into Depot Park eventually. But the original idea was to go down Second Avenue through Innovation District to the Porter's community and Lynch Park, and then we would figure out how to get further into to Depot Park. And with a 7-month layoff from live meetings, and again changing staff, this clearly got shelved somewhere. But that's a thing we'll need a report on at the next meeting. So, any other commissioners have question there or comments? Commissioner Santos, and then Commissioner Simmons.
Yeah, and I guess to that, definitely I think in a Depot Park and looking in terms of with COVID and people trying to work more outside and stuff like that, I've definitely heard some complaints of not having places to kind of go out. I know probably a lot of people would want to work out in Depot Park if they could have internet access. But yeah, thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you, Chair. And I agree with Commissioner Hayes Santos. I think that would be a great deal if we could try to figure out where we are and look at Depot Park, considering the state where the COVID situation. But I wanted to know about the autonomous the autonomous bus. Do we have an update on that?
Yes, it's running.
Okay.
It's at a reduced capacity. I think the most that we allow on there right now is 4. But the federal government said we can resume the testing.
Okay, Mr. Manager, I saw it. Is it like how many passengers can fit on this bus? Because I saw something like this on Southwest 2nd Avenue. Is that
That's
the
it.
little?
Yep.
Okay.
like a toaster.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at full operation, I think the max capacity is at 10 or 12
Okay.
on there, and that's with people sitting and standing. But right now we're limited to 4 plus the operator.
Okay, I did see it, and let me just share with you, people were just looking like, what is this? So I don't know if we need to do a little bit of marketing on that. I don't know if it's too early for that, but I did see it go around the roundabout on Southwest 2nd, and it was a showstopper. People were really like checking it out and looking at it, and I was like, is that the autonomous bus? I think it is, but I'm not sure. So I just want you to know it was like some positive feedback, and it's really it's eye catchy. So we might want to start just letting folks know what it is, and that may be an opportunity for us as well. Maybe down the line, if we want to do maybe some surveys at certain locations where the shuttle is, just take advantage of it, because it really draws attention. So just want to let you guys know that.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. I had a similar experience. I was a couple of times. I ate lunch at the Streetery area on Southwest First Avenue, and people were really intrigued every time it came by, and it shows up like clockwork. You know, I think it's every 20 minutes, and it shows up like clockwork, and like clockwork, people flock over to it to find out what's going on. And inevitably, you know, some of those people take a ride, whether they needed to take a ride or not, just because they're interested. So yeah, there's an opportunity there.
Mr. Chair, I still have my T-shirt saying that I was there when we launched the autonomous shuttle back at the beginning of the year when we had so much hope.
Yes. It feels like decades ago, doesn't it?
It really does. But that shirt makes me happy. So
Yes.
whoever made that swag, thank you.
Yep.
I'll work with RTS on the marketing.
Yes. Very good. Okay, anything else on Smart City Update? Questions or comments? All right. Let's go to general public comment, because that's the next thing on the agenda, I believe. Correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, that's correct.
So let's open those lines up.
Hey, we have a couple of callers who are phoned in. I'm unsure if they are staff. So anyone here from the public who would like to make a comment, if you are on your telephone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. The people in the attendee list are staff. Give just a moment to see if anyone raises their hand. Again, just dial *9 and the system will raise your hand. Chair, I don't see anyone raising their hand at this time.
Okay, all right. So the next item up, Madam Clerk.
The next item is member comment.
All right, any further comments from members? Okay, I will just reiterate that there are several items here that we need to get full updates on at the next meeting, and I trust that we'll have plenty of staff updates on those next time around. And I will do make the rounds the week before the meeting and make sure that we've got things to work on, or at least hear on. We don't necessarily have to take action at every meeting, but we'll consider this sort of a reorganizational meeting today and move forward into what's next. That said, it would not break my heart at all to have elections for a new chair at the next meeting. I enjoy serving on this committee, but I've been chair for a couple of years now. If anyone would like to make such a motion, I'd be more than happy to hear it.
I move that we just place elections on the next committee.
Okay. Is there a second for that? Thank you, Commissioner Ariola. Right. So Commissioner Hey Santos moves to have elections for chair at the next meeting, and that's seconded by Commissioner Ariola. Is there any public comment on that, Ms. Bryant?
Hey, so members of the public, if you're called in, you can raise your hand by dialing *9 to speak to this item about placing elections on the agenda. Dial *9.
Give that a minute to work through.
Chair, I do not see any hands raised.
Okay, fair enough. All right, any more questions or comments on that by the commission, by the members? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you will call roll for us.
Commissioner Simmons?
Aye.
Commissioner Hey Santos?
Aye.
Commissioner Ariola?
Aye.
Commissioner Ward?
Aye. All right, that passes unanimously. We'll hold elections for chair at the next meeting, and I appreciate the begrudging motion there and all the yay votes for it. All right, if there is no other member comment, it looks like we're scheduled for November 9th for our next meeting. All right, looks like we are adjourned. Thank you.